Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Spina Bifida Guide to Hope. My name is Leilani, and today will be a continuation of me explaining my experience with the overnight drainage bag. Now, just a disclaimer, I am by no means a medical professional. This is just my personal experience with using an overnight bag. Now, in my previous video, I had talked about using an overnight bag when I was a child and having to use it and why I have to use it for the rest of my life. And for this video, I'm gonna focus more on how I use it as of currently and what it was like for me to learn how to use it independently. Also, I will be explaining my experience with what it's like being an adult woman using the overnight drainage bag. Now, in my previous video, I did explain how as I got older, I wanted to be more independent with the overnight drainage bag, and I wanted to learn how to do it on my own without needing someone's help. As an adult and getting older, it was very important for me personally to have that independence for myself and really learn how to use the overnight drainage bag without needing assistance. Now, I am not at all saying that it's a negative thing to need or want assistance as an adult. All I am saying is that for me personally, it was just a preference that I did want to learn how to use it on my own and be independent with it. So that for me was a big thing, my independence. And once I learned how to use it on my own and how to connect things and how to connect it to myself, it was an accomplishment for me because it allows me to have independence with something that I haven't had independence with in many years. So independence is definitely for me personally a big thing. While learning how to use the overnight bag and connect it to myself and kind of maneuver it in a way that is comfortable for me, I did in the beginning have a bit of trouble trying to kind of find the right way and the most comfortable way to do it. Now, for me personally, I don't know about everyone who does use an overnight drainage bag, but for me, I usually will connect the catheter to the bag, then would take the catheter, and I do this in the bathroom, and I sit on the toilet and act as if I was just regularly cathing, and I will cath myself with the catheter that is connected to the bag, and I will then tape the catheter to the inside of my thigh, and that will help hold it into place overnight once I lay down and go to sleep with it connected. That will allow for me to move around and allow for the catheter to stay in place and not come out during the night while I am sleeping. However, doing this in the beginning, it was a little bit difficult because I was not sure on really how to maneuver myself and kind of get in a comfortable position because the catheter is connected to a tube that is pretty long. It was kind of new for me to have such a long connection, especially sitting on a toilet and trying to act as if I'm regularly cathing. My normal catheters are very short, so I'm used to cathing with short catheters. So it was a little bit of a struggle and a learning process to kind of learn how to maneuver the long catheter and be able to cath myself with that type of catheter. Now, not only was the length of the catheter a bit of an issue when I first started learning how to do this independently, but also I had to have a talk with my urologist to change the catheters that I was previously using for the bagging system because the catheters that I was using when I was needing assistance with it, the end of it was pretty solid and not very flexible. So it was very difficult for me to kind of connect the catheter to the bag on my own because my hands aren't very strong. So I would need assistance with that, with connecting the catheter to the bag. So I did talk to my urologist and they referred me to another type of catheter that is a lot more flexible. So that allowed me to easily connect the catheter to the bag, and that helped me to be able to do this independently. However, those were not the only issues that I ran into. Being a woman, obviously, for me, I have monthly periods. Now, the reason why it is a bit of an issue for me personally while on my monthly cycle and using the drainage bag is because when I go to connect myself to the drainage bag, I do have my underwear on, and usually I will of course keep them on, and I would just move it over and, insert the catheter that way. However, while I'm on my period, it is a bit more difficult because it adds another factor in the way, which is my pad. Now, I do have a bit of difficulty still today doing it on my monthly cycle. Because of that, it is a bit more difficult for me to move over my pad and kind of keep everything out of the way and clean at the same time while trying to cath myself with the long catheter that is connected to the overnight bag. So that is a bit of a challenge for me. Now, because of my pad being in the way when I am on my monthly cycle and it being a little more difficult for me to connect myself and cath that way and kind of maneuver it like I would my regular underwear without a pad, I choose on my monthly cycle, when I do get it, to not use the overnight drainage bag during that time. Now, that again is just a personal preference. I'm by no means saying that any female who does have a monthly cycle and is using the overnight drainage bag that they should follow my example. I am not saying that. If you have found a way that it works for you, great, and please continue that. I'm just stating that for me it is difficult and I haven't really found a method for me personally that works while I am on my monthly cycle. Maybe one day I will find something that works for me when it comes to the pad being in the way when I'm on my monthly period, but for right now it's not really working out, so I just decide not to do it at all during that time. Any other time when I am not on my cycle, I obviously use it the way that I am supposed to, and I use the drainage bag system every night. I just recently, not too long ago, did learn how to use the overnight drainage bag independently. In fact, I actually only learned about maybe a couple of months ago, and I am 25 years old, and I was put on the overnight drainage bag when I was 11. So it took me quite some time to kind of find a way that works for me, that I am able to be independent with it. Again, if you are not independent with it and you use the overnight drainage bag, that is not at all a bad thing. It is okay to use assistance and it is okay to ask for help in anything. I am not saying at all that just because I decided that I wanted to learn how to do it on my own, that you should have to learn how to do it on your own as well. I am not saying that at all. If you are comfortable with needing assistance or wanting assistance, then that is totally fine. For me, it was just a personal preference and I wanted to learn on my own, and it did take many years for me to find what works for me personally, for me to find the right catheter to use. I am still in the process of learning how to maneuver it the correct way while on my monthly cycle, which as of right now, I just am choosing not to use it during that time. But I, again, by no means am saying that any female who does have a monthly cycle should follow my example. You should not follow my example. Please use it as directed by your urologist. Me not using it on my cycle is just a personal preference for me at this time. I am trying my best currently to learn how to maneuver it and for me to use it during my cycle, so I am working on it. Before I go, I do want to say that I genuinely apologize for this video being a little late. I know that I do have some of you who watch me on a weekly basis, and I usually post on Sundays. However, this past Sunday, I was unable to post this video, so I decided to post it a little later. So I hope you can forgive me for that. I do, if I can, plan on continuing to post a video weekly every Sunday if I can, because of what is going on right now with the virus pandemic. It is kind of difficult for me personally to kind of keep on schedule and be able to post every Sunday, but I am trying my best, and I do apologize for this video being a little late. If you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. It is greatly appreciated. Also, please like, share, and comment on this video. That is also greatly appreciated, and I will hopefully see you all next week. Bye!